Hi everyone, this is Chrishanne. I hope everyone is doing well. We're here again for another interview with a guest of mine, a good friend of mine, Mr. Jegatheeswaran Manoharan. And we are here to learn about a totally different, fascinating, and interesting topic and have a very engaging and dynamic conversation. So, he is an NLP practitioner. He's also a team effectiveness specialist, as well as an international speaker and a game and simulation developer. In addition, he was also a former board member of the North American Simulation and Gaming Association, also known as NASAGA, and the past president of the Malaysian Association of Professional Speakers, also known as MAPS. Hi, Jega. Thank you very much for accepting my invite to be my guest. I hope you're doing well today.
Hi, Krishan. Yes, I'm doing very well. Thank you very much for this invitation. Glad to be here. So thank you. I'm delighted to see you again after the last conversation we had a couple of weeks back, I believe. And we spoke about a lot of stuff then as well. So
Some
it's
of which,
interesting to.
yes, some of which we will cover today. Yes.
Right.
Uh,
Yeah.
okay, so Jega, just to start off, would you like to add on to some of the things I mentioned about yourself? Would you like to tell us a bit more about yourself?
Well, I'm a part of that. That's the professional side of things. I am married with one wife and two children. My eldest is about 19 now. She's in the university, and my son is sitting for IGCSE. Both of them are homeschooled. My wife and I decided to homeschool our children from the beginning. So people used to wonder if homeschooling, can you still have a career after that and all that. Well, let them bother about that. You and I should take care of our own career. The world is changing and they will know how to change accordingly. So she's in the tertiary right now. She just joined Taylor's University. She wants to be an actor. So she's taking up a course on performing arts. My son, who is 17, he wants to be a movie director. So highly likely he might end up in the same university unless we get some other better offer from other institutions. So that's it. That's about me. And my wife has been an educator. She teaches classical music, classical vocal, and she also teaches students online uh, from home. And she has always been a person who's exploring what else to do and currently pursuing a master's in education. She is very much into education. So sort of like that's how homeschooling started as well.
Ah, okay. Okay, so perhaps, okay, so that is a very interesting introduction. Perhaps maybe your children got the idea of going into like movies, performing arts. Is this influence from your wife, perhaps?
Not really. What happened was we just left them. We just left them, and our idea of education is actually education should be exploration. And similarly to what I'm doing, even in my career as a trainer, I design business simulations and games for learning, for adult learning. And the whole idea of games is that when you play games, you discover. You're not given a regimented thing about what you need to learn. Everybody will have their own discovery. And I think the biggest thing that we can do with children today is that expose them and allow them to discover. And that's not really happening so much because everything is regimented to what we want them to do rather than what they can do. And so from the beginning, we expose them. And my son getting into the wanting to being interested in movie happened naturally. So what happened was one day we were watching this one particular movie. It's a Tamil movie, Kamal Hassan movie, and there was one scene where he's actually standing at the edge of the building, and the camera sort of like from the back of him. This guy is standing at the edge of the building facing outwards, and the camera pans from the back to the front of him and zooms out. So everyone would have watched it just like a movie, fine. Yeah, it's an intermission before the next session or what. But my son asked me a very interesting question. He said, where did they place the camera? So that's when I asked the question, oh yeah, where did they place the camera? And that's where, I realized that he was more into that. And we just left it. So throughout his, from the age of 10 or 9, I believe, he has always been saying about going into movies, want to be a movie director. And he watches movie differently from the rest of us. The rest of us watch movie for the story. He watches the movie for the angle, camera, pan, lighting, and all this thing. So my daughter, sort of like, she was looking around what she was wanted to do, and I think in the last 2 years or 3 years, that's when she decided to take this up as well. I think because she did well in some of the stage performance and all that, so sort of like a natural thing, it just went in that direction.
Okay, that's great. Okay, I have a question for you. What is your training or your educational background, Jega? How did you come to some of the things you're currently doing?
Okay. My background is engineering. I'm a mechanical engineer. Studied mechanical engineering and majored in marine technology. So, which is a little bit of naval architecture and marine engineering. So, I'm supposed to be involved in shipbuilding and ship design and all. But very early in my internship, I
Mm-hmm.
started to realize what is the reality of design in
Okay.
Malaysia. At least, in Malaysia there is R&D is hardly heard of, at least the time when I came out. Okay, that was about like 20, 24 years, 25 years ago. R&D was hardly heard of. It was a nice idea and it was starting to take place, but every job that you apply for was a process job. You sit there, you don't ask questions, you do things and all that. Nobody talks about design. But when you're studying engineering, you're like, you're very excited. Wow, I can calculate this, I can design, I can improve. You're all into the improving thing. And when I went for my industrial training, that's when I realized the internship there. Basically, the same ship you repair, you know this. And when I looked at my seniors over there, I said, like, if I stay here another 20 years, I'm going to end up like that guy there. So that's not where I wanted to do be. And I started exploring then. So once I started exploring, I was involved in a little bit of sales thing. And I came across this book by Robert Kiyosaki, Think and Grow Rich. Sorry, not Think and Grow Rich. What am I talking? That's Napoleon Hill.
Yes, correct.
Rich
Think
Dad
and
Poor Dad.
Grow Rich is a Napoleon Hill. Yeah.
Napoleon Hill. Okay, Rich Dad Poor Dad. And in that,
The very
uh,
popular book.
very popular book, and then he wrote Cash Flow as well. I'm not sure in which one of that book where he said that three things that you need to learn in order to be successful in life is number one is learn how to manage money. Second is learn how to manage people, and learn how to manage time. So people, money, and time. And the best job that teaches all three is actually a sales job. A sales job is the one that teaches all three. You learn how to manage your time, you learn how to manage money, and you gotta deal with people. Okay, if you are a process engineer and all that, okay, nothing wrong about an engineer. If there's a process engineer out there, great. It's a great profession, but compared to a sales job, you will definitely meet a lot more people in sales. Thing. And you got to deal with different characters and all that. So I was doing sales for about 2 years, selling an industrial product. It was called Ingersoll Dresser pumps. Okay, it was a high end pumps. Sometimes I used to, when I first got the job, I tell people I'm selling pumps, and they're like, "What? What is selling
They
pumps?
were wondering what kind of pumps is this guy
What
referring
what
to.
pumps is that? Do
So
you do
their
you need?
imagination goes wild when they hear the word
Yeah.
pumps.
Oh. No, what pumps is that? Pump water, pump chemicals, and all that. You need to be an engineer for that. Actually, yes. No, actually, you don't have to. But being an engineer gives you a bit of advantage over there. When it comes to calculating pressure heads and all this thing, you understand stuff a bit better. So I was doing that for 2 years, but deep down there was a calling in me, or I don't know what to say, calling or signal or whatever, that I wanted to be involved in the human development thing, because I was listening to motivation tapes and all that, and it was like something saying going go 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 in this direction, and that there was an incident that happened. Maybe if later time permits, I might just share that. But that sort of like confirmed the push. And I joined a training company as a salesperson, selling other training programs. Then I joined another training company where I was a trainer with them for 4 years, where I met my business partner. I have to be very careful by saying business partner, not my partner. Okay.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. The world we are living
yeah.
in, there are so many types of partners.
Correct. Yeah. So this business partner is a male Zyrol, great guy, great friend, and all that. And we started Accordia training 15 years ago, actually, 2007, and it has been 15 years. We are still in the same partnership, same company. A very rare thing for a trainer or a training company to have the same partnership for 15 years, because our ego is as big as the football stadium. So
So that
we
must
are
make
right.
for some little bit of fireworks here and sparks there and some unexpected surprises.
Well, because every trainers think that they are right. The whole world is
Oh,
wrong. We are
really?
the only one.
That's news to me. I thought that was just a general human condition, not
Oh,
specifically
no,
for
no, no. You
trainers.
listen to me. I come from there and I'm telling you that everyone, they're good, they're consultants, they know stuff and all that. And sometimes working in partnership requires another level of maturity to do that. So I'm blessed that I have a partner who understands that. And we discuss a lot of stuff. And until today, a lot of things that we discuss, we decide, we talk to one another, and both of us feel good about it, we'll go. Both of us feel like, nah, I don't know. That's okay. So we don't know how long this partnership will go on. And but one thing I told Zyrol is that if we ever leave this partnership, it should be because of that we are moving to the next phase of life to go and do something else or something like that. But so far it's been going well, 15 years now.
It's great. So you're 15 years together, and as you and I were communicating primarily on LinkedIn, and then in recent times on WhatsApp, and that's when you actually realized that I reminded you about the milestone, the 15 years.
Oh yeah, yeah, correct, correct. Yeah, we were sort of like knew it, but then suddenly on LinkedIn there were so many people coming out there and saying that, oh, congratulations on 15 years thing, and this LinkedIn just decides to tell the whole world about something, and I was not intending to post anything. We have some plans for the 15-year thing, but it just turned out to be that, and that's where I
Yeah,
saw it.
the thing with social media, whether it's Facebook or LinkedIn, I can't comment much about Instagram, whether it has that feature. Like for Facebook, if you allow your friend to see your birthday, then you can it pops up in the birthday calendar.
Yes,
Okay, then for LinkedIn, it's more there's the birthday feature, and there's also, I think, like an anniversary, because it takes a look at what where you're working or what you're doing, and then it keeps track of the date, and then it sends a reminder to your connections that, okay, this is
that's
this
right.
person's birthday, or that person's anniversary, or this person started a new job, or this person is going to study this person is going to complete this. So it's an interesting feature lah. It makes life a little bit more exciting, rather than all just focusing on the seriousness of professional networks, and trying to do lead generation and look for jobs, etc., etc.
Right. True. So yeah, it has been a good journey so far. The last 2 years threw in a spanner into a lot of our plans. So we sort of like we took it like the 2 years was like I mean, look at it this way. If this was in 1943, in at least over here was 1940, sorry, 1942, it would have been the World War.
Yes.
So 1942 to 45. Now, for the international audience who are listening to this, yes, World War started in Europe in 1939, but in Southeast Asia, it only happened in 1942 when Japan invaded us, occupied us. So when you look at it from 42 to 45, those people who lived during that time, we had our version of difficulty during that time. And I'm sure, businesses went down at that point. But over here, we never had to lose to that extent. So yes, a bit of lockdown, money was being spent, the income was low and all that. But fine, our infrastructures are still here. Our intellectual ability is still here. So that's all. All that that's the only thing that matters. As long as you have the ability to think and move around, you can drop yourself anywhere in the world and you'll figure it out.
And then, of course, the practicalities of dealing with rations and growing your own vegetables and
Yeah.
curfew and whatever not during the time of war.
Yeah, correct. Because my dad used to tell the story where they will wait at the railway track, and what happens is that as the train moves,
Mm-hmm.
as they load the rice
Okay.
bags and all that, this small paddy rice might have fallen on the track,
Yes. Yes.
and, and they will go and pick up that
Ah,
rice
okay.
thing, and then they cook that. So they valued rice a lot at that point. And the other thing is they started planting. I think it's tapioca.
Yes, I was
The,
just going to mention the tapioca thing because my father, my aunt, my uncle, my paternal grandparents, I know some stories about what happened during the war, and I know a little bit about their childhood. The very idyllic, simple times of growing up where you had chickens and cows and you had large pieces of land where you could roam free, climb trees, go into the drains and catch tadpoles and pick mangoes and whatever not.
Yeah, right. So it's a different thing. So we are thankful it was not like that. It was just a 2 year setback and all. But okay, things are coming back right now. I just hope that it continues in this direction. But if anything happens, I think one thing that it taught us is that always be vigilant and always have buffer for whatever you do. And I had a good fortunate thing that I knew of one of our fellow MAPS members, speaker as well, Rajan Devadasan. He writes articles in the New Straits Times and even the Age, I think.
Ah, I think this gentleman writes in the Star. He's got an article, I think, in the business section, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, correct. Rajan Devadasan writes good stuff and all that. And many years ago, he actually talked about having a buffer in any businesses and all that, having a buffer fund, having a personal buffer as well, a 6 to 8 months buffer in it. And heeding his advice actually helped a lot as a company, as an individual, for our personal family and all that. Yes, it's an unpleasant thing to see the bank balance slowly going down, as the months go. But we are glad that we listened to some of his advice earlier, and we had enough to make sure everybody's salary was paid. We were like seven of us on the payroll. So everyone, the whole of 2020, they were all given full salary, and we fulfill our obligation during that period.
That's great. That's great that your company didn't institute pay cuts or, shall I say, downsize or anything, that you all decided
Yeah,
to just pivot and adjust accordingly because your manpower, your staff, I believe, is
right.
your family,
But
right? It's another family of sorts.
Yeah, it is, because the thing is, you see, I'm sorry, 2020 we did not do any salary adjustment. We hope everything was back, will be back to normal and all that. But in 2021, there was a few months that we did a bit of adjustment, and we got their permission first. We asked the team members, look, guys, this is what's happening. This is a situation. Look at it outside, and are y'all okay if we were to do this? If anybody is not okay, come and tell us personally, and we are fine. We will not do that for you. Okay, but we want to just keep this open, who can and who cannot. And everyone, 100% of us, the guys in the company, and said that it's okay, they understand. But also what happened was, in 2020, when we were paying full salary, we already warned everyone, guys, we are currently not doing any change of salary, but the thing is, don't spend everything, put it aside. You are working from home, so you don't have transport, you don't have to pay toll, you don't have to pay parking and all that. So please put funds aside, don't spend everything. In case something like this happen, you will have buffer. So when the thing happened where we had to do a bit of salary adjustment, they were okay about it. They said like, no problem, we could. But some of the government funds that came actually helped a little bit, so that provided a bit. But right now, everything's back to normal. Everyone is back to their full salary and all that. So it's okay.
Oh, that's great. That is incredible achievement of sorts, because I don't think most companies would have taken the approach that you and your business partner did. And it's good that it's great that for 2020 there were no pay cuts, but you and your business partner basically told the staff, please be a bit careful. You don't know how things will change. Be a bit prudent, save as much as you can for rainy day and emergencies and whatever not. And so when it came to the time when uh, a slight pay cut needed to be instituted, they were fine with it, because you had an ongoing open discussion about this and they are well aware of what's going on. So it was they were involved in the decision making process, so to speak.
Okay, things are now all right. It's just that right now some of the inquiries are moving to physical programs, but they are also being very cautious, because I just saw another friend of mine, also a trainer. He was all okay, went for the program, and somebody in the program was positive, and right now everyone has to go into quarantine mode and all that. But you know what? Come to think about it, you can't run away from this virus. So I mean, this is just my personal opinion. People may not agree to that, but for me is, if you got it, if you're getting it right now, great. Take good care of your health and get over with it, and at least you're done.
And of course, it
With
helps if you've already gotten all the vaccination. So it gives you a little bit of a buffer against the
well,
severity of how the virus affects you, be it short term or long term or whatever.
Well, I would not want to comment on that bit, but I,
Okay.
I would rather take the approach of like uh, common sense of health. Just take good common sense of health, is because you look at it in 2020, prior to the whatever the thing, the vaccination or whatever. Uh, about in Malaysia at least was 99.6% of people do recover from the thing. And that 99.6% who recovered 100% depending on their own immune system. They did not depend on any medication and all that. So boosting immune system is actually a very important thing. And my wife and I are very big believers of that. We take good care of our health in terms of what we eat. Very rarely we eat outside, unless it's like a kind of celebration thing, something that we want to do once a week or what. But a lot of times things are prepared at home. We eat home cooked thing, and to the point where nowadays for me to eat outside, I'm like, when I look at it, I'm a bit um, uh, can you call it
Quite
paranoid?
concerned about it, right?
Yeah, the paranoid thing is, it's not COVID. I got nothing to do with COVID. I'm not. COVID is not an issue to me at all. My thing is, even from last time, is hygiene, how food is being prepared and all. And whenever I go to the restaurant, I just look at things, look at the situation. If something just doesn't feel right about it, I leave. I don't want to eat over there. When you look at the waiter, the way they dress and the way thing and all that, I tend not to eat there unless you really don't have a choice. Then you have to really weigh your options and do it that way. So we are very much into that. Like, even when I go into a restaurant and eat, I wash the spoon and fork before eating. So it's just been a habit, like the fork and spoon is there, right? So everybody just pick it up and start
Yeah,
eating.
yeah.
We'll pick it up and go to the sink and wash it and then eat. And this was way before COVID, it's nothing to do with COVID or what
This is
thing. So
just
it was.
part of your practice, your routine.
Yeah, so that's the thing. You see, the thing about health and all that is common sense, and common sense is not so common anymore, and therefore you start.
I'm laughing because I that resonates with me. But I'll let you continue what you're saying, then I will
Right.
chime in.
No, no, go ahead, go ahead. Tell us what
Okay.
is it.
I agree with you that common sense is not common anymore, and it's been that way for several years. I suppose it's there is no there's a multiple ways of looking at this lah, different angles and aspects to it. I think one of it is because of the generations. Each of us grew up in different generations, different exposure to different education. The culture was different. Our parents, our grandparents told us certain things, and then technology, media, whatever, exposes to totally different things. So perhaps I think you and I come from a family background where we were taught the values: what's right, what's wrong, about hygiene, what's good behavior, what's bad behavior. To be considerate, to be patient, to be humble, to listen. Uh, that kind of shall I say upbringing. Okay, so I realized that, okay, I'm not really pinpointing age specifically, but I realized that common sense, as you said, is not common anymore, because most people, courtesy and manners is like missing for most of them. Okay, and then people have become very more individualistic than they used to be, and very much materialistic. Okay, rather than looking at what other people's how it affects others in terms of their feelings, their thoughts, and that kind of thing. So when it comes to when you're interacting with people, sometimes you have to realize that there's going to be some unpleasantness or miscommunication or misunderstanding, because the other person is completely from a different wavelength, and they have a very specific way of thinking and perspective that differs greatly from you.
Yeah, because that's a presupposition of in NLP. The map is not the territory. What you know and what is the truth is two different things. So we can only see the map, and the map might be just one part of what we know, and the territory is much bigger. So it reminds me of one.
The
I think I
map, can
heard.
I draw a parallel here? The thought that came to me when you're saying map and territory is like jigsaw puzzle here. There's a big jigsaw puzzle, 1,000 pieces or whatever, and in essence, you're only seeing things from maybe got a third or a quarter of the jigsaw puzzle, so you don't have the big picture and the full perspective. Is that what you're saying?
Well, it's like this. It's like, yeah, for example, you would have completed one part of the jigsaw puzzle. So let's say there's the treasure chest over there. Oh, yes, look, I have completed the treasure chest. Therefore, I've completed the jigsaw puzzle. No, you have completed the treasure chest. And another guy who's completed a face over there is like, I completed the face, I completed jigsaw puzzle. No, you completed the face. So what you know is this much, but what is there is actually so much. And the the measure of ignorance is that um, the meaning of ignorance is that what I don't know cannot exist. That's the ultimate thing about ignorance. Is like if what you don't know is what you don't know. But to have the obnoxious attitude of saying that what I don't know or what I cannot prove cannot exist, that means that's the height of ignorance, you know, because a lot of things that is in knowledge today were in knowledge was there even before civilization, but today you have developed the perception to actually be able to see what it is, you know. So at one point they say that you can't go faster than the speed of sound. Okay, at that point you can't go faster than the speed of sound, but today we can go 5, 6, 7 times the speed of sound. What is that? And that's a possibility. So a lot of times what happens is that just because it is not within the, the territory or peripheral of my thought process, therefore it's not true. You know, I think that's the one thing that we need to do away with. And if you go back to ancient civilization and all that, it has always been about discovery. The ancient things is all about searching and and going out and asking questions and all that. But what happened is, as time goes on, we stop asking questions. We stop asking questions and we start accepting. Oh, oh, this is how we do. Yeah. Oh, why? Oh, he's the leader in that area. Okay, fine. So what? He's a leader in the area, so he's giving his point of view. He's not talking about the truth. All right. So you go and discover your own truth and all. So I think this is where sometimes the thing, and one of the, if you look at my LinkedIn profile, I put that as thought catalyst. And in fact, my entire journey right now, planning for an upcoming book, I've shelved it for a while because of there are a few other matters to look at. And uh, the thing is, the whole idea of the book is actually to go into this perception of an explorer, you know, lead an organization or lead people or lead yourself from the perception of an explorer rather than a settler. So there's two mindset to this. One is the explorer mindset. Another one is called the settler's mindset. So the settler's mindset is all about a settlement. If you look at um, a settlement has to have some rules over there. Okay, first thing, a settlement has a boundary,
Yes.
right? So you don't go out of the boundary, that's our settlement. And in order to stay in the settlement, we have some rules for you. You can't do this, you
Yes.
can't do that, you can walk this way, you can't walk this way. This is
And
one-way street.
there's usually more don'ts than do's.
Yes, a lot more doors. Cannot enter here, cannot do this, cannot do that, and all this, you know. So it's all filled with rules over there. But that's a settlement. But sometimes those rules are actually needed to maintain the harmony of a settlement. Okay, but if you stay too long in the settlement, you will be part of that settlement. You will not be able to explore anything further. You know, there used to be a joke last time. My friend used to tell, you know, born in Puchong, schooled in Puchong, worked in Puchong, retired in Puchong, and died in Puchong, but buried or cremated in Puchong also. So and, and that's an epitome of a settlement. But the other way of thinking of it is actually a mindset of an explorer. And an explorer's way of doing things is a bit different. There is no boundaries. You only see horizon. All right. So when you look at one edge, you see there's one line there. That's the horizon, you know. And as you come to the edge of that horizon, you will find another horizon. And you come to the edge, you'll find another horizon. So it's not really a boundary. It's a mindset of a horizon over there. And the idea is in a settlement, you cannot make mistakes. In a settlement, it's all about following rules. You know, if you make a mistake, you get punished and all that. But when you're an explorer, you don't know what is right and what is wrong until you walk and find out.
Until you
and
fall into a booby trap or something.
yeah, until you fall or what. But you develop your common sense as you go. You develop your intelligence as you go. Thing. But that intelligence will not develop if you don't go. If you don't take the step, you will not develop that ability, that skill, and all that. So we need to, this two mindset is actually needed for life. There are some areas where you would like to have a bit of settlement kind of thing, because otherwise things will not be stable. You want to live in a society, a harmony, settlers mindset is needed. But if you live in the settlement too long, one day the settlement could be taken away. A natural disaster could have just come and wiped out the entire settlement. And what are you going to do? And
Hmm.
if you've been living in a settlement
Hmm.
and everything has been wiped out, you don't have the skill to explore a new settlement. So it's important for us to have both of this mindset, but right now we have to move towards the explorer's mindset a lot more. So that is why whenever with our children and all that, we tell them, go and explore. And sometimes my relatives, this happened about few weeks back. We were at a funeral. After funeral they have these prayers and all that. So
Hmm.
we were there, and one of my uncle asked me, "So what are they planning to do?" That's what they do, right? Or what are family functions for? To find out what your children is doing and compare with my children and look at whose children is doing something much more better. That's what family functions are for, right? So
Yeah, it's a
this,
time to gossip. It's a time to see
yeah,
what's going on with each other. And then with some people, it's all about status and one-upmanship and all that. Who can be better
correct.
and faster and successful and richer and whatever.
Yeah, and I changed my car. Oh, you're still having your car? That's where you do the comparison, over there. So my uncle asked me, so what is she planning to do? What are the children planning to do? I said, like, she's planning to be a actor, and he's planning to be a movie director. Then after that, they were talking, oh yeah, this thing, and after that, so come on, seriously, what are they planning to do? I am seriously telling
So
you.
this uncle is not hard of hearing. He just decided to clarify whether what he heard was correct.
Yeah, he thought it was just a joke. I said, I'm not joking. She wants to be an actor, and he wants to be a movie director. And his face went like the kind of thing, like, this is not the way. This is against the settlement
So
rules.
earlier he was smiling and all very upbeat. And then when he
Uh,
realized this is the reality, then it was a little bit of a doom and gloom and slightly disappointed, disheartened look, is it?
Correct. He was like, then he gave this look like, it's like, what are you trying to do? Are you going to spoil their future? And there were people who asked, that, what about their future? Now, honestly, if anyone, if any adults who are listening to this, if you are worried about your children's future, and if you are in the age group of about 30, 40, or 50, my suggestion to you is, I think you should be worried about your future, because the rate of technological development, we are not even sure your job is going to be around in 3 years from now. Sometimes some of these people are getting very confident that their job is going to be there forever, and they are quite okay, they are all settled and all that. You leave your children alone, because we do not know what the future is going to unfold like. Because when we started homeschooling, one of the challenge that we had with my relatives, and mainly my mother-in-law, my mother, is that, uh, how are they going to go into the university? You can't go into the university and all that. But we said that, no, you can. Oh, but how? They will ask this. No, don't worry about the how. You explore. These are the thing. See, an explorer's mindset is like, if you want to explore and just say, is there a settlement on the other side? I don't know. Let's walk and find out. That's an explorer's mindset. An explorer is, let's walk and find out. But if you want surety is there and a settlement over there, then you are moving like like a settler, and it won't work. An explorer's journey with a settler's mindset won't work. So what we did was, we just said, look, the world is changing so fast. For crying out loud, they are only 7 years old. We still have about 10 or 12 years ahead of us. And what happened was we just gave time, and sooner or later, universities started opening up. Even back then, universities were accepting, what do you call it, homeschoolers and all that. So don't worry so much about your children. And if you're worried, like, what is going to happen, are they going to be making it in life and all that, I feel the more you worry and the more you hold them back and the more you like try to protect them, you are just teaching them on how to be comfortable in a settlement. Because the day when they start graduating, they are into a world where they must be an explorer. But throughout their 20 or 15 or 17 years of their life, they have been taught on how to live in a settlement. So suddenly when the gates open, they just don't know how to handle it. And that's the challenge we're having with graduates right now. When they say the graduates, they're not be able to think and all that, I don't blame them. Why should we blame it on the graduate? Oh, graduates today are very, they're not this. The graduates today are not exploring. Graduates today, they are not thinking. No, it's not the graduates. It's you. Because in your home, you have a graduate as well. And it is because of that way on how parents have been raising their children, not letting them to explore and all. Suddenly, after graduation, you cannot expect them to like, okay, now show me what you can do. Oh, no, at home, everything was prepared for me. So we expect that to happen in the work as well. So I guess that's what it is all about.
Okay, thank you for that very fascinating, very broad sharing of your perspective about the two different types of mindset, and that we need a combination of both settler and explorer mindset. There needs to be a balance of sorts. Otherwise, if it's just a settler one, then it's like, I think, to put it in a very colorful term, we become dinosaurs. As you were saying, everything is all in one place. We are all in like a
Correct.
comfort zone of sorts. Okay, whereas if you're an explorer, every day is like an adventure. There's always something to look forward to. There's something to learn. There are various challenges and obstacles and pleasant surprises and unpleasant surprises to navigate and all that. Um, is there anything that you would like to share with the people who are tuning in? Because everyone, yes, it's almost been 2 years since this pandemic began. There are some people who have chosen, as the saying goes, crisis is a time of opportunity. Unfortunately, I don't think many people see it that way. So those who are proactive, who are open-minded, who are flexible, who are always curious and wanting to learn new things and explore different things. They're quite adept and good at dealing with the unexpected things. Okay, but then there are those of us who in our comfort zones, and even though it's already close to 2 years since this pandemic began, I think there are some people who are still maybe a bit afraid or hesitant, or they just don't know what to do, because they perhaps don't have the skill or the knowledge, or they just perhaps don't have the characteristic in them to deal with something totally beyond uh, things that they have experienced before. So for me, I chose not to stay in my comfort zone. I am a person who likes to think things through, plan it out, research and all that, and then take action. But I've realized over the years, even before this pandemic, that there's only so much you can control, so much you can plan. There's a higher power, whether it's a higher being or the universe. You plan it, but things will not go according to plan. That's just not life. Okay. And the way to deal with this is to go with the flow, to be open-minded, to be agile, to be flexible, to leave some room for pivoting and spontaneity. Okay, because that's what makes life interesting. If everything was like going according to plan, I think it'd be very, very boring and nothing much to look forward to. Okay, so I chose to pivot. Okay, I chose to get out of my comfort zone. So I made use of all of my characteristics and talents, and I like to learn new things. I like to make new friends, and I'm proactive. So I like to research things even before I need it. So because you never know that knowledge or skill when that will come in handy. So with this pandemic, when I started doing freelance work 4 years, gonna be almost 4 years, 2 months next week, I started from scratch. Okay, it was a big paradigm shift for me because I think you and I, what we have in common is I think our parents would have told us study hard, get a good job, maintain that job, that equals career stability and financial stability. And then later, get married, get a house, get a car, and all that stuff. Okay, but things have changed a lot over the years. Okay, times have changed. Okay, so one good thing about this pandemic is I decided to take advantage of the opportunities that were for upskilling. Various courses, master classes, webinars. Lots of opportunities were either free or minimal charges. So I decided this is a time for me to invest in more knowledge and to learn from the experts and people who have done this before. Okay, and then I also changed my style of creating awareness and promoting and marketing my written communication services. Okay, so there's some people who are like me, who are, and perhaps I think yourself also, proactive. We don't stay in our comfort zone. When things change, we decide we need to do something about it. But then on the other side, there are some people who are still, shall I say, because for various reasons, they're still in their comfort zone. Do you have any advice or tips or ideas that you would like to share with them?
Well, it has already been 2 years, so a lot of the tips, I guess people already heard it, and they some acted on it, some did not, or what. So I don't think I would like to just like advise anything on it, but I think as we move on, uh, what we probably need to do is just um, be open is one, and the other one is the ability for us to critically think about stuff. Because what I noticed in this last 2 years, okay, there's two part of it. One is your own opportunity and all that. Yes, there are numerous webinars that has already talked about it. You need to be bold, you need to go do this, go do that, and all that. But I sense something else that happened in this last 2 years, that people have lost their ability to think critically. And the reason I say that is because there's a lot of information on media and all. And what people do is they tend to believe everything that comes through and not ask some hard questions. So that leads to this thing called misinformation and everything. And when I say misinformation here, I am not referring to only misinformation spurred out by people who are irresponsible and all that. I'm talking about misinformation coming from even mainstream that has not been corrected until today. And this is not a good thing. And it actually erodes the confidence that people have on those various institutions. One of it is the institution of the medical practitioners. People still hold very high regard on that, to that industry. I'm not sure about the rest of the world, but I guess in Malaysia we still hold our medical practitioners at very high esteemed position. But the lack of some of them to freely voice out their opinion causes us to or the general public to now having to do their own research in that field, and that's not a field that we are an expert at. We should be allowing the medical practitioners to do it. And if medical practitioners are not what do you call it, uh, not daring enough to say what they like to say, and they are afraid of how will they be treated if they were to say something. And I feel that that is really a problem. So for me, about pivoting and all that, if you know what, pivoting, you should have done it 2 years ago or a year ago, is done. Right now we are going back to normality. So as we approach normality, what we need from people is that to increase your level of sensitivity to the surrounding. And we must be able to ask tough questions, and whoever leads us or gives us advice must be able to answer that question. So, like for example, if I'm going for a particular treatment, I can ask the doctor everything about a particular treatment. Let's say I'm going for chemo or something like that. I can ask the doctor everything, and the doctor is obligated to give me an answer for that. What is the risk and all that? The doctor has to give me an answer for that. So a doctor cannot just tell, "Oh, no, no, it's okay, it's safe, you take it." It probably worked in the 80s, probably in the 70s, maybe 60s, maybe. But nowadays, people are very informed, and they have alternative sources and all that, and we need to respect that alternative. So not all the alternative sources are valid. You also got to be careful in that sense. But I think as professionals, they need to own up that you must explain things properly to people. And the thing is, the general public should be daring enough to ask things and ask for valid reason, and should be allowed to question stuff. So for me is, moving forward, what people need to do is question everything. Um, just because it's in the news, it doesn't mean that it's 100% true. And just because you receive something on the WhatsApp, it doesn't make it true either. So both side of it has to think. So you see, when you become vigilant about your surrounding, it's very difficult for people to manipulate. But
True.
when you have the ability of just like listening to one side, everything in the whole world, everything is a conspiracy theory, and you believe every conspiracy theory that comes about, you can be manipulated very easily by certain people. At the same time, if you're a person who, oh, I believe everything the mainstream says, mainstream should be correct, we don't question the mainstream and all that, you can be manipulated as well. So the thing is here is that the ability of us, that's why it goes back to the mindset of the explorer. The mindset of explorer is all about you explore and spend time to observe and think. And there's one thing that I think we can all do is, in fact, when this the pandemic started, one of the things that my partner and I did is, you know what, stay calm, watch what's going on, but don't conclude anything. Because it's too early for us to even conclude what should be done, what the right thing to do and all that. And I'm surprised because as the pandemic hit, one thing is consulting firms started having webinars and telling, this is what you should do, this is what you should do. Like, hey, how do you know? How many pandemics have you lived through to tell exactly what others should do? And this is where sometimes people start questioning consultants. And please question consultants, because the first three alphabet of a consultant is con. You know, so so don't believe everything that I say. Question me as well. Just because I am saying something that resonates with you, you should even question that.
Yes, I will be
Uh,
channeling the people your way. I will be providing all your contact details. So anyone who wants to give you their feedback or wants to pick your mind or something, coming.
Right. So I think that's the thing. So question this thing, because what happened was they were telling about, what businesses should do, how business should pivot, this pivot and all that. No, it's okay. You can give your point of view, but you give it in a way where it's still in an exploratory zone. See, like, so when that thing hit, as the week went by, I had like the five rules on what so on crisis leadership and the crisis leadership sort of got unveiled as we went on. So the first thing that struck my mind is observe. Nothing to conclude from this thing. Whenever something is in a situation, you just want to manage the immediate stuff and observe whatever is going on. And I came up with another four, which I made a video out of that as well. But the thing is all about is that as you observe and I think today's world, what everyone should be doing is spend time, spend quiet time. Now you can call it quiet time, you can call it relaxation time, you can call it meditation. Honestly, I don't care what word you
Also
use.
known as me time, self-care time.
Well, me time is a little different. You see, sometimes I don't know what is the definition of me time thing, but like for some people, me time is like nobody around me. I just want to have my coffee and I want to watch a movie. I want to do something. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about sit down and be quiet. Focus on your breathing
Okay, a very
thing.
purposeful time.
Yeah, yeah. So you don't need to know any heavy meditation techniques. You don't need to know some transcendental meditation method. But I'm not against it. If you want to go and learn certain meditation methods, there are 1,000 different meditation methods out there.
For
But
me, when it
learn
comes to
something.
meditation, I find, I don't know for others, maybe some of them they can do it themselves. For me, I need music, number one. Number two,
Mhm.
guided meditation is effective for me. But I know there are
Okay.
other people who can do it by themselves. Lah. They can sit quietly. They practice makes perfect. They can get into the zone quite seamlessly.
Right, right. So you see, in that case, what you said, Shen, was very good, because go with what flows with you. So like some people, this is another thing. School of meditation also they have. Oh, this one cannot be done. This one cannot be done. No, no, no. Do what works for you. So if music helps, play a music. If guided meditation help, use guided. If you find guided meditation distracting, then don't have guided. If you find music distracting, then sit down quietly. Whatever it is. But what I suggest is spend about 10 minutes focusing on one matter. You can focus on your breathing. The easiest way that sometimes in some of my leadership workshop and all that, I tell leaders to do this. Okay, I think it's important if you're leading.
Jega, can we? I need to stop you for a little while. We'll just pause this for about a minute or two, if you don't mind. Sorry about it.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, yes, Jega, you were saying you were talking about meditation and different schools of thought when it comes to meditation.
Yeah. So the thing is, this one of the things I think it doesn't matter what school of thought. You just follow what works for you. And in fact, right now, what I'm doing is in my leadership workshops and all, I am telling corporate leaders to spend quiet time. So sometimes the word meditation can look like very religious to some people. So I say, you know what, call it relaxation time. And I actually conduct one session in the classroom itself. And these are different races, religion, and all that. They are okay because I don't call it meditation. I just
Is this
say
a session
mental.
by itself or part of your training program?
It's part of the training program. So we'll take a few moments to do that and let them go through like a timeline thing and all.
So this is
Depending on
where
what we want.
your training and your knowledge about NLP comes in, correct?
Well, not so much of NLP here. It's probably some level of NLP. See, another thing is this: NLP is a name given to something that has always been being done for a long time. So right now we have a term for it, NLP, and we're using that. And NLP also is not new. I think it's been around for over 40 years now. And the thing about meditation is that, or relaxation, is that you focus on your breathing and you spend that quiet moment, and you will start increasing your sensitivity to your environment. Suddenly you will start realizing some things that you did was right, something is wrong. And as you are about to do things, some things will just tell you stop, and something will tell you, okay, go ahead, this is the right time, ask now, and all that. We
So
usually call
is
this
this like
intuition.
could this be like it's like we're following our instinct or intuition, or we're just listening to what our
Intuition would be a better.
body or mind is telling us?
Yeah, I think it's the word is intuition. Intuition actually does exist in everyone, and that's one more thing. That's why I said like earlier what I said. Just because something is outside my knowledge, it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. All right. So I'm just giving you my point of view. No one has to agree with this, but I just believe the power of intuition is there, and it has been written by people. on this. Even if you read The Law of Success by Napoleon Hill, which was the original book, Law of Success is the first book. Think and Grow Rich was the subsequent book, but it became much more famous because of the title. I have not read Think and Grow Rich, but I've read Law of Success. So in Law of Success also, there is a chapter there dedicated to imagination and intuition and all. So the thing is this, intuition is like your inner wisdom trying to tell you something. But what happened in real life, in reality, is that we have become so loud. Constantly we are distracted. There we have this handphone that's distracting us, we have things, people calling, TV, Netflix, and all these things. So there's constantly a lot of noise around us. So the voice of intuition exists, but because of the noise you just can't hear it. So that opportunity to quiet ourselves down actually increases that sense, our sensitivity to our own intuition. And you find that you will be able to make decisions a little bit better. And sometimes as people are speaking, as they are talking, something will tell you don't trust him.
This is your internal antenna or lie detector at work, huh?
Yeah. And my wife Vani, she is very, very highly aware compared to me. She has
Ahem,
this.
ahem. So, Jega,
Yeah.
watch out, what you say and what you do. She
Oh yeah.
is carefully observing and picking up on things that you may not be intending to give out.
Yeah, she is very highly sensitive, because there were many occasions that I see someone and all that. She said, I don't have a nice feeling about the person. I said, why? What's wrong? It's okay, man. What's wrong with the person? And later turned out she was right. Something is not right.
So,
And
you're a
this has
smart
even.
man. You decided to listen to your wife and you avoided certain
Yeah.
situations, right?
Yep, correct. And there was one occasion, maybe I won't tell the setting of this place, but there was this person, and she said, my wife came and said, like, watch that person. I said, why? No, just watch. Something just doesn't feel right. Just watch the person. And later it turned out to be, yes, the person actually did take some cash which they are not supposed to touch. And we found out that later. And I said, like, okay, all right, this is this is frightening. Okay, but the thing is,
So, I hope there wasn't any major problems or fallout that came from it, because you listen to the heads up and alert that Vani gave you.
yeah, because I won't really act on it. But you see, okay, this is another thing. You don't act on everything that comes to your head, because otherwise you will look like, cuckoo or something like that. No, why paranoid and
You'll
all
be
that.
like
So
maybe like Charlie Chaplin or Mr. Bean all over the
yeah,
place.
okay.
you'll be
But the thing
you'll
is,
be a comedian in your own life.
correct, correct. So, but the thing is, you just say something, okay, fine, all right, I'll take it. And I think that's what leadership, if you're leading an organization and all that is, you listen, but then you have to do your own evaluation. And if somebody says that, like this, she has been right a few times, and whenever she says something like that, I say, why do you say that and all that? And that just makes me want to just check further. And if I check further and I find that there is nothing about it, then fine. I don't have evidence, anything to say anything. But we'll just be a little cautious, but not to the level of you getting paranoid about it. I have the third eye, I can see the future, or anything like that. No, nothing like that. In fact, when I became partner with my partner Zairol and all that, and she said, I have a good feeling about this. And she's right, it's 15 years now. So she's amazing. Awesome.
So she's like your I don't know, fortune teller, or shall I say the person who,
Ah,
who maybe perhaps gives you a heads up on something that potentially could happen.
could be. And she's very highly a very high believer of law of attraction, and
I was
whenever we have,
wondering, I was wondering when we were going to get to this topic. Okay, because this is
yeah,
something that it resonates with me quite a lot. Because you were talking just now about the law of success. So immediately in my mind, I was like, hey, 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 I will bring up law of attraction very soon if it doesn't come up in the conversation. Yes, as you're saying, she's a big believer of it.
yeah, she's a believer of law of attraction, and she has done this a few times. I don't know, like, you can say that this is coincidence or what. We have gone into
Okay.
Mid Valley trying to find a parking. Finding a parking in Mid Valley is like a miracle. So, and she gets into
Mid
this. Okay,
Valley is actually manageable, Jega, from my experience. The one where
okay,
I really found difficulty finding parking
uh-huh.
is one Utama, especially, let's see, the old wing. One Utama, the
Oh,
old
okay,
wing. New wing is still, still
yeah,
manageable. And then what else? Yeah, that's basically.
Sunday,
And then those public places where you go to the restaurant or the shop, it's like trying to
yeah,
win the lottery. So no matter
correct,
how positive thinking you are, you think you're trying to manifest, I want this parking space. Me being detail oriented, Jega, right? Many
yeah,
years
right, right.
ago, people were telling me, the power of prayer. In my mind, I was like, really? I wasn't being cynical, I wasn't being pessimistic, but I was like, power of prayer, right? And then one of the examples the person would talk about is like praying for
Say that again.
parking,
Power of what?
the power of prayer,
No, prayer. Okay, all
the
right.
power of prayer. And one of the things
Okay,
that this person was talking about, praying for a parking space. Now, in
all
my
right.
mind, I was like, seriously? Praying for a parking space? No, no, I was not making fun of it or anything. It was just
Okay.
a totally new concept to me. Power of prayer, yes, I sort of have heard of it. Prayers can be like very, things can happen and all that stuff. Okay, can move mountains and whatever. Just like the law of attraction and manifestation, if you put it out there, you will draw you'll draw the energy and you will draw the exact thing that you want. Okay, manifestation, abundance mindset, law of attraction, whatever you want to put it, it sort of is interlinked. Okay, so I thought about it and I actually tried it out, Jega. Because I'm detail oriented and meticulous, I see that as an asset. Some people don't see these characteristics as a positive thing. Okay. Um, so I actually tested it out.
You lost connection for a while.
Yes,
Uh,
temporarily I sort of saw the internet connection is unstable.
yeah, about 10 seconds like that. But okay, all
Okay,
right,
so I
right,
will
okay.
repeat myself. So I decided to test out this power of prayer thing, which my friend mentioned. Okay. And because I'm detail oriented and meticulous, I see this as a positive and good characteristic. Not many people appreciate these characteristics. And I've learned to adjust accordingly depending on what vibes and what is the dynamics I pick up from the other person, okay, in my interaction with them. Okay. So I will say, please give me, in my mind, before I leave the house or while I'm driving, I'll say, please give me a parking space in this section, in this place. Okay. For the most part, maybe I will have to wait 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Sometimes I have to wait maybe 15 minutes, 20 minutes. Uh, so two things happen. If I get the parking space straight away, I say, thank you very much for the parking space. If I don't get it straight away, I say, thank you very much for giving me the parking space after such a time. So I'm not being ungrateful, but there's a distinctive difference to me. Okay. If it happens straight away, it's like, yes, great. Okay. Instant thankfulness. Otherwise, I don't know. This is just me. I'll say, thank you for giving me the parking space after I made a few rounds and after so many minutes. Okay. So, coming back to what you were talking, uh, catch me back, Jega. I'm sorry, I may have diverted a little, but I saw the connection between what you were saying And then that's why I
Yeah.
went off
So
towards
you're not
this
far
topic.
off from there. Yeah, yeah. I think you are talking about the same thing. It's just the law of attraction bit, and I think yeah. So that's it. Coming back to what the initial question was about increasing our level of sensitivity. Don't trust everything that you hear. At the same time, don't doubt everything that you hear as well. I think if not, you will be in a very uh, you'll be in a world of your own, and it's difficult. It's a very difficult place to be in. So I think having a balance in that would be good. But the other thing is, don't be afraid about life. I think today a lot of people are very worried. I am working with one organization right now, um, where this you see, because of digitization, this group of people, the company doesn't have a place for them anymore. So
So
they
that
are not.
means they have been made redundant. They are potentially being retrenched or
Yeah,
something.
yeah, could be. They could be. But what is because the culture of this organization is that they feel if they just let them go, it's not a right thing from their perspective, because they still have at least about 15 years, 10 years ahead of them to still make it. But because of the nature of work that they were doing, which is very processed, very what do you call it, mundane kind of thing, and all of that are getting digitized very fast. And because of that, they don't have a space, and their skill cannot be placed elsewhere. So currently, we're doing
At least not at the moment, unless they undergo some
yeah.
training or some upskilling, right?
Yes, correct. If they are willing to go through that. So, and people are very fearful about that. So we are going through a 4 months journey with them, or we realize that we need to do a lot of connection with them, and I'll know in 4 months whether this project is a success or not. But we will make
So
sure.
when did you all start this journey with them?
Officially, the program just started about 2 weeks back.
Okay.
2 weeks, 3 weeks back, like
So this
that.
is sort of the early stages, everyone trying to get onto the same page and all that.
Yeah, but you see, I sense that they are fearful. I sense that they are afraid. Like one is disappointment that why am I not being appreciated? No, no, it's not that you're not being appreciated. You are here because you are appreciated. Because if this was any other organization, they will just just retrench and say, I'm
Mm.
sorry, goodbye, thank you very much, see you another day.
Mm.
But here they're willing to do that. So I feel like everyone here, there's a lot of elements that's happening that you may feel fearful. So anytime, any situation that brings about fear and all that, you need to understand that fear is just that lack of information about something. So if you can just upskill yourself with certain information, certain knowledge, and all that, there's nothing to be fearful about. And always trust in yourself, believe in yourself. In fact, we have a t-shirt that we've been wearing called believe in yourself.
Do you have it
And
around you?
not right away.
So it's not exactly in your room.
It's not, yeah, it's not here right now. But the thing is, believe in yourself is that uh, you need to know that the world will always open another door. As one door shuts, it will always open another door, and you will always be able to find something else. But you need to see the world from that glasses. That hey, there is always something good. You will also
As
always
in,
believe that
look
there's
at the positive side of things. Don't so much focus
yeah, that
your fears and your concerns, which doesn't mean you ignore it, but coming
yeah,
back to the law of attraction, focus on what is important, focus on what you want to achieve, so that when you
yeah.
put it out
But the
there,
thing is
you
this,
declare it, you draw that thing towards you somehow.
the thing is that the word positive, positive thinking and all that also has become so cliche that sometimes when people hear the word be positive, it's like, oh, come on, what is it about? So I do not want to use the word positive there, but I would just say this: there is always a way. So you just have to you just have to believe one thing: there will always be a way. The law of nature has always been like that. There will always be a way. There will be a way out of it. Because if you look at it historically, you
This
see
is
some of the
like
stories.
the saying, where there's a will, there's a way. Or
Yes.
like the other thing is seek. Okay, not to get religious here, but I think this is a general enough principle. Seek and ye shall find.
Yeah.
Knock and the door will be open to you.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's all about looking for it and being proactive.
Correct. So just seek, and think. One belief that I developed a long time ago is that I know deep down I will never run out of money. So that has always been a belief in me. So even in some situations where in the past it was very difficult and all that, the deep down thing that I always believed is, no, I will never run out of money. No matter what happens, I will never run out of money. I will always have that. It will always be there, and it has always been there. Thank the creator what for this, but I have always found myself having that I am not in that situation. So likewise, you should have some form of like an anchor that you hold on to, and that the anchor is that if something goes out, there will always be something. Like if you're stuck in a traffic, sometimes when you're stuck in the traffic, all kind of gymnastics people will do in the traffic, try to stand here, curse the government, curse this, whack the steering wheel and all that, and all kind of thing. But you know what? The law of the traffic is like this, and this is how I
Oh,
calm
we got
myself
a law
actually.
of traffic now. Huh? Is
Yeah,
this
yeah.
Jega's term?
Oh, I
Law
don't
of
know.
traffic.
Maybe somebody has figured it out as well. We are all explorers, so other explorers might have figured it out before me. That I always tell myself when I'm in the traffic is that, you know, right now it's 8 o'clock. By 6 o'clock, or by 8 o'clock tonight, this road will be cleared. So nothing to worry.
Okay, so if it's now 6 o'clock and by 8 o'clock this road is clear, so you're fine if it means it's going to take you about an hour or two to
Yeah, yeah, that's
get
it.
get past the current obstacle.
Correct. So because if you want to get somewhere fast, that's why for my training program starts at 9 o'clock. I'm at the location at 7 a.m. two
Wow.
hours ahead of time, and that's a culture that I've been practicing, and there's something that I expect from other trainers who work with us as well. All right, so 2 hours before that our team members are already there, and if the trainer is not there, we're going to give the person a call. Where are you? Where are you? Are
Okay.
you there? Because the thing is this, you are in the business of other people's life. So I'm not saying your life is not important. There are 30 or 25 lives there waiting for their knowledge, and you're going to be the source of that for that day. You owe them more than you owe yourself or your family or kids or anybody, your mother or whatever. You need to be there on time and before time. And there was one occasion I planned to go at that time, and traffic was just building up on Max Highway, and I've never been late.
Okay.
15 years of Accordia, and 4 years before that in another company. I've been in the industry for 19 years. I've been conducting training. Not even a single training I was ever late. And this was
Jega,
one.
can you please define late? Because in your case, you go 2 hours before the training session. So can you please
Okay.
define it so I understand it and anyone else
Okay.
understands your definition of
Okay.
being late?
Okay. My definition of being late is if the show has to start at 9 o'clock and it cannot start at 9 o'clock because you are not ready, that's late. So I don't care if you are there at 8:30, but 9 o'clock we cannot start. You cannot tell me that, hey, but I was already there at 8:30. I don't care. 9 o'clock is supposed to start. We could not start because you had to unpack a plastic bag that is late. Show must go on. That's a culture that we set as a thing. And it's not like, oh, you're trying to be a very high standard. Yes, I am trying to be high standard. You know why? Because everybody wants to practice low standard, and they're very comfortable with low standard. We need to raise our standards up. Okay, we need to have high class standards in whatever we do, and that's how you compete, and that's how you are able to put up with all other competition. So there was one occasion where Max Highway was just jammed. and my battery life was going down and waves also almost dying off. So what I did, I had to close data and all that. I forgot to charge that the night before, and I did not have a car charger and did not have the power bank. This was way
Murphy's
before
law was
power.
at work. Anything that could go
Yeah,
wrong was going wrong. For a man who likes to be early and plans things out and proactive and all that.
yeah.
So tell
So
us,
this
what did
was,
you do?
all right. So Max Highway was thing. Okay. So what I did was jam. Car is just stuck after the toll. Just scrolling. Okay, which way? Which way? All right. Okay. Okay. Go this way. This way. This
So
way. Okay, fine.
basically, you started going through the routing and all that before the phone died,
Yeah.
so that you can memorize it or something like that.
Yep. All right. So I know. Okay. So they are telling you to use this particular route and go there. Okay, fine. All right. Went there. So I turned it off because I need the power there, and it was like about 6% power left over there on the phone. So just drive and all that, and looking at the time. I'm looking at the time, and it was already like about 8:30,
And
and
the
I
session
know
was at 9.
9 o'clock. 9 o'clock is supposed to start
How
8:30,
far
and they're
away
off.
were you from the venue?
About, you see, in KL, it's not about how far, it's how much time.
Okay,
When you're in
sorry.
traffic.
How much time did you think uh, originally
Uh,
originally based on the plan?
okay,
How much time
if
did
it
you
was
need? But then now suddenly the whole thing got turned upside down.
on a normal occasion, from there to that place is 10 minutes.
Okay.
So with the traffic and the time now is about 8:25, like that, 8:30, and I think
So
so. I
your
immediately,
red light warning signal,
oh,
internal
very,
one is going off
very,
like
very, very,
mad.
very.
Okay.
No, cannot, because this is like changing my. That's a mark in my history, so I cannot allow
Cannot
that.
have the black mark, huh?
Cannot. No way. So I called up my colleague who was already there, and
So
I
on
told him,
6%, you called and said, my battery is dying. I'm stuck in a traffic jam. Potentially, I may be late, even though it is just unlike me, but I'm just giving you a heads up.
no, no, I didn't call the client. I called my colleague.
Yeah, yeah,
So
I
my
know.
colleague
Yeah, yeah.
was,
I meant that you
yeah,
call your colleague on the 6% and quickly
yeah.
conveyed that.
So I told him this, that what you're gonna do is this. Look, there might be a possibility that I'm gonna be about 5 minutes late. So here's what you're gonna do. At 9 o'clock, I want you to get everybody, welcome everyone, and do an ice breaking. I should be in before
That
the
was
ice
the
breaking.
contingency plan. Okay.
Yeah, right. So I reached the space, I reached the place at about 8:40. So it was just about 10 minutes away, and I reached at about 8:40, 8:45. Yeah, I think it was close to 8:45 there. Reached the parking lot. There's this big parking lot that they have there. There was no parking.
Next problem.
Yeah. Okay. So I said, like, damn. Okay, wait, look, look, why there must be somewhere. There must be one parking somewhere. And I
No, but this
saw,
is like a 2 or 3 level story, the car park, right?
no,
Or
no,
something?
this is an open car park outside the building.
Oh, so
So
it's not a sheltered one. Okay.
no, no, it's not a sheltered one, because the sheltered one is for the employees there. So it's an open car park there. So I went into the open car park. There was no parking there. So I saw one space there between one car and a tree, and the roots were there. So what I did was I just
Yo.
went over that part and parked it there, and just hope that it would not heavy, there wouldn't be a heavy rain.
Yeah,
Because if
because you
heavy
don't
rain
want
comes,
any branches or stuff falling and damaging your
your
car and all that.
insurance won't cover that. So took out my stuff, quickly went to the lift area, pressed the lift. There were two lifts there,
Mm.
out of which one of it was not working.
Somehow I knew you were going to say that. I already can
Okay,
see all the obstacles started, and there
right.
was very little
So
relief from this whole thing.
the time was already going up, at 9:50 already, 9:50, 9:55, 9:52, like that.
You mean
And
8:52? Because you said the session
sorry,
starts at 9,
8:52, yeah.
right? Okay.
8:52, and
Ah.
then this lift opened,
So
and
now
when the
you're
lift,
starting to sweat and panic and all that, is it? The time is
yeah,
going
because
by.
I'm still having my bag, my stuffs and all that, And at I was waiting for the lift, and then waiting for the lift took another like about 3 minutes because only one lift, and that lift was stopping on every floor.
On what floor was this event
That
space?
okay, all right. I entered. This is quite a funny building because when you enter the fourth floor,
Oh,
and the training is actually on the ninth floor, if I'm not
okay.
mistaken, was
So
the ninth,
five
five
floors.
floor.
Okay.
Okay, so I was waiting over the, I think 5 floors or 4 floors, 5 floors, I think. So I waited there, and then the lift opened. Now, because it's only one lift working, that open lift was full.
Okay.
So it's
So
only
how?
coming up to
You just shoved yourself all the way in there.
no 9:55, right? It's
8:55.
8:55, right?
Yes. Yeah.
I still have 5 minutes. So the mind is just this. You have 5 minutes. Figure out a solution in 5 minutes. Okay.
If
You
I
can't
was
get into the
you and the lift
Mhm.
was full, and in fact, when you told me there are two lifts, only one was working. So there's a reason why I asked you how many floors, because I myself was trying to figure it out if I was you, what I would do. So
Mhm.
what I was thinking, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, is if the lift is very full and there really is no space to shove myself inside there without fainting or something, contingency plan is take the stairs.
Yeah, yeah. All right. So I ran up 5 floors. And by the time I reached there was like, you're really breathing hard. And it was 8:55.
So your
I
face was
walked,
glowing and you were sweating and all that.
oh, something like that. I really can't recall that one. But I reached up there. When you enter the class, you should not look panic. Trainer should
Yes,
always
correct.
maintain the
First
control.
rule as a speaker or trainer,
Right.
don't
So
don't
take a
show
deep
the
breath.
weakness.
Right. Take a deep breath. And I walked in 8:55. 8:55, put my bag. Then I asked, how is it? I was just waiting. If you did not come, I would have started it. But okay, all okay. All right. Are we ready to start? That's why I put. Then my bag. Now the thing is, my bag has to be unpacked for the training. Right. So what I did was I said, okay, what I do after this doesn't really matter. But 9 o'clock we need to start. But thank goodness we did not start at 9 o'clock. Not because I was late, because the participants were not there yet.
Oh, so not all the
Malaysia.
participants were
Right.
there at 9 a.m.
Yeah, yeah. So the organizer there, she said maybe we give another about maybe 10-15 minutes. Are you okay, Jega? Well,
In your
yes.
in your mind, in your heart, it's like, yes, I have a break now. I can
Yeah,
organize
yes, but
things
but but
properly.
but you don't show that. You see, you say like 15 minutes. I think okay, all right. So that 15 minutes, I made sure I took out
So
all my
Jega
stuff,
was all
stationery.
Mr. Cool and smooth, didn't show that, yes, the 10-15 minutes was a blessing in disguise.
Yeah, and that's why I say, right now, even now, that was back then. I think I was like 10 years in the business or 12 years in the business or something like that. But right now, I will say 15 years in the business. I have never been late for a single workshop. So
So
I'm
after
happy.
that, you build in more buffer time, I suppose.
Oh yes, no, and that point was just, you see, that's why we have the 2 hour buffer time. The reason why I make it a point to reach there 2 hours before time is because the 2 hour before time is that in case your car breaks down, you have enough time to get a taxi or a grab or what to reach the place. Okay. Or you can call your colleague to pick you up, or you can call your wife to bring the other car. So whatever it is, you settle that off first. To me, I even my mindset now. Some people may not agree to this. My mindset is that if let's say touch wood or what you met with an accident, and the accident is not so serious, and you can still move your car. I would say move the car to the side,
Mm.
get a grab, get a taxi, show up first. Your car can be settled later. All right. The reason is because no matter what happens, as long as you can breathe, you can walk. Show must go on, and that's a commitment to the people who have come there. And that's just my belief. Anyone, you don't have to really have to share that, but that's just the belief that I hold, and even my partner Zairo, he holds that do. Whatever it is, show must go on, and we must be there.
Very, very well said, Jega. And thank you for sharing with us some of the challenges you have faced. So it makes makes it more interesting, and at least people get to know you better, and some of the challenges that could happen when it comes to work-related matters or the training industry or clients and whatever not. Yeah. Um, okay. I was in preparation for our discussion today, I was checking out your website and all that stuff. I noticed that, okay, this is where you have to correct me. I may be wrong here. In 2019, is it? Is it you or the company won an award?
Oh yeah, yeah, yes, 2019, yes, correct. 2019, we won the award for the best team building provider by the HR vendor magazine. Sorry, HR Online magazine. So that was the HR Vendor of the Year Award 2019, and we won the award again in 2021.
Wow.
So yeah, and if anyone wondering why we did not win in 2020, we didn't participate.
Oh, so this is by participation, is it? It's not by
Yeah,
nomination or something?
no, it is by participation, but there is a selection committee, and so it is also a riveting moment because you can come back home empty-handed, at the awards. So you are competing against other people there.
Is this
So
just in Malaysia or is this in ASEAN or something or
no,
international?
that was a Malaysian award that was done in Malaysia, and there is one in Singapore, and also that was the only award that we participated because we thought let's try and see let's see if we are anybody anywhere that we think about. Sometimes we have a very high opinion about ourselves that we are a hero or whatever, but
Mm,
until you go and test it out, you don't know whether who are you. In Malay they call it jago kampung. Yeah, in my
yeah.
kampung I'm the jago. Until you go for the real tournament, then you realize who you are. But but the award is, yeah, fine. It's sort of, I don't see the award as a reason on why people should engage us or what. I just see that award as like maybe a
It's like an
confirmation of it.
affirmation, right?
Yes, information of the works that we have been doing all the while, and I think we are proud of the work that we've been doing, because we've been very much involved
Would
in
you like to talk a
simulation.
little bit about the work you're doing? Because as I was when I was introducing you, it says team building. Sorry, team effectiveness specialist, right?
Yeah.
And then some of the things you do in some of your team building and trainings is some games to make it very interactive, and then there's some simulation and all that, right? So it's a slightly different style of training that you conduct.
Yeah, what we did was when we started the company was it was very uh, uh, there's a whole lot of team building companies out there. So competition is stiff. So we decided that, one thing we're going to do is we're not going to repeat the kind of activities others do. And we started developing our own games, our own activities and all that. And I was very much drawn to simulation based learning because I was selling a product last time that was a simulation type training. So because I was exposed to that, I focused on building simulation, and we wanted to hack the market because business simulations are
When
very
you say hack
expensive.
means you were looking at innovation, introducing something that
Innovation,
is not so popular or relatively
yeah,
new.
yeah. Uh, uh, Krishan, you may want to check is your this one on or is it mine? Let me just check and see.
What's the matter, Jega?
Okay, wait, I'm hearing. Did you hear any beeping sound?
No, I don't hear any beeping, not on my
Okay,
side.
can you just, okay, can I just pause on my end for a while? 1 minute?
Uh, okay, I think I have to pause because
Yeah,
okay, let me pause because this is being recorded. Okay, I'll
yeah.
pause. Play. So, Jega, you were telling us a little bit about how you started incorporating simulation and games into your training programs.
Yeah. So what happened was when we started the business, it was we was predominantly a team building company, and team building was heavy competition. A lot of them are team building providers and all that. So how do you compete against them? Is that one thing we realized is that we need something new in the market, and we decided to build training games that works for team building and games that people have not seen before, and that got us into design. And I used to be involved in business simulation because I used to sell business simulation, and we developed business simulations for that purpose also. And what we
Can
realized is that
you just explain to me what exactly is a business simulation, Jega?
okay, yeah, that's a good question. Business simulations are basically um, an activity or a game that people play that is whereby the elements of the game we could take it and draw parallel to a real world scenario by making direct comparison with that. So for example, in some simulation is you need to manage a company. All right, you need to manage a particular business. You have suppliers, you have vendor suppliers, you have customers, you have employees and all. And in the game itself, you need to find certain balance between that. And when you do the balance, you need to take certain action. And based on the action, we will ask them where else this action relates in the real world. So that's what a business simulation is all about. So simulation is a little bit more immersive, and it's a bit more structured than just a complete game. You attend a team building program, you have a simple game. Those are all metaphoric games. Metaphoric games is like you throw a ball, you catch a ball and all that, and you can create meaning. Okay, what does a ball represent and all that? Those are metaphoric meaning. But simulation takes a little bit more design. Some of them are board games, adventure games, and all that. It takes time to design them. And every challenge in that game can be related to a business situation. And that's what a simulation is. And traditionally, simulations are all built in other countries, mainly Europe or US based simulations. And they have a very high cost on licensing when it comes to this side. It doesn't make sense, like for
Because this is patented or something, is it?
well, it is not patented. It's more of like copyrighted. But the thing is
Okay.
copyrighted to the point where you can't the because of the exchange rate and the licensing fee and all that. For a class of 20, it can cost up to 60,000 ringgit.
Wow.
For yeah, so it's like so what
And
happens is
this is
that
just one particular element or one particular thing, right?
yeah, one simulation. And when you do that, what happens is that the program can run, but it's only meant for senior managers. It's only meant for the upper management people and all that. Because for the upper management, spending 60,000 for a 2-day workshop is quote unquote justified, right? So, but the thing is, the game or the simulation is so good that what about the non-executives, or what about the executive levels, the lower levels, the mid-management and all that?
Mm.
They should also be able to experience that.
So it's a
But for
question of making it affordable, right?
that's right. So when I said that we wanted to hack the thing, what we attempted to do is we want to hack the market. Is that can we make high-end simulations affordable? So the only way is you can't license it because licensing fee is too much. Let's design it. And Zyrol and I went into the design mode of it. We went for
What is Zairo's background? Is he from an IT background or from a creative background?
no, he's a psychologist.
Oh, okay.
So I'm an engineer. He majored in psychology and sociology.
So
So
he looks at human behavior. You look at ideas, thought process, and whatever not. So you put it together, it should be a quite an interesting combination, right?
oh yeah, it is an interesting combination. And you should interview him. He's an interesting character as well. And so we
Sure,
came up with it.
you connect me with him. and I
Yeah, I'll do. I'll do.
will start breaking the ice and all that.
Okay. And so from there it started. We started building simulation, and suddenly one of the clients said that, this thing that you all use for team building, can it be used for a classroom program? Yeah, okay, why not? And
Classroom, as in school children or something, or
no,
college
no,
or something.
I'm talking about skill-based program, like a leadership program or customer service program and all that, because we've been using those simulation tools for team building.
Okay.
So one of the head of customer service said that, if I were to do a customer service program, could you please, because I find value in one of the simulation that you all created, which is called Eastern Trading Company, and can we run the Eastern Trading Company as part of customer service program? I said yes, because the debriefs and all that can be used over there, and we focus a lot on debrief and learning, even in a team building program. Contrary to the team buildings that happens in some parts of the world, for them team building is just a fun thing. Not really in Malaysia, especially when the banks do it and all that. Team building are heavy content driven. There must be good debrief, and even the managers are all educated in that sense. They look forward to it, so you can't just
When
go
you
and
say debrief, Jaya, you are referring to after various techniques and the knowledge has been imparted. You're talking
yeah,
about what to do next, the action plan, is it moving forward?
action plan. So you see, you can play a very good game, you can have fun in the game, but the thing is, what did you learn from the game? And that process of connecting the game to real life, that takes a little bit of skill,
Mm.
and that skill of facilitation and all that is a debrief process.
Okay.
And you need to do that well. A lot of times what happens is that we have great games but very poor debrief. All right, and some people are very good in debrief, but then they are not, in terms of games and all that, there's not much of opportunity and all that. So what we wanted to do is that, let's create stuffs that can be done. So our latest thing that we did was a board game that we created called Anthill Cove, and it's all about
Sorry, how do you spell it? Spell that?
uh, Anthill, Anthill,
Okay,
okay, Anthill
anthill. Okay.
Cove, Cove, Cove.
Okay.
All right. So we did the game called Anthill Cove, and that's about us moving up the corporate ladder. So as a player, you are moving up the corporate ladder. You need to engage with others. You need to start projects. You need to complete projects. You need to build your capabilities and all that. And you need to balance with your spiritual health and family life and all. So sometimes when that is not down there, you will come down in the thing. So when people go through all the frustration in the game,
Mm-hmm.
and then our debrief is about, ask them like, so what were you frustrated about? Oh, I was already making progress, but then I had to backtrack. Why you had to backtrack? No, this card that I took out and then it affected my spiritual level and all that. Okay, fine. So what could have been done differently, that even if that situation happened, you would have still been on the
Mm.
game and you would not be pulled back? Oh,
Mm.
that's where the thinking starts. All right. So if the thinking can start in the game, now we try to say, okay, using what you've just answered, is there something else that you can do in your personal life right now to ensure that similar thing does not happen in a personal life there? So that part is where we are to say that our focus is that, it's not about the great game, it's about the learning that comes from the game. Yeah.
So it's a more well-rounded, comprehensive perspective to the whole thing. It's not just focused on the training and whatever
Yeah.
goal was set for the purpose of training, but what is the next step? What is the next action to take as well? And sort of facilitating and guiding people in processing what they learned or the difficulties they face during in the course of the game.
Yeah, that's one more thing, the learning through discovery. So you let people explore, let people discover, let people think. Then that's the whole spirit is let people go and explore, and whatever makes sense to them in the game, that's the lesson that they will take back from the game.
Okay. Thank you very much, Jega. We've had a very wide discussion on a variety of topics, and you shared some of your perspective. I shared some of my perspective, and we had a very engaging and it's a fun conversation. But we do have to draw this to a close because uh, reality sets in, life happens, and I very much enjoyed our conversation that we had, and we have a nice flow. But all good things must come to an end, at least for right now. Who knows? Perhaps Jega, in the future we may have another chance to catch up again and have another conversation on something else. Uh, so
And I
thank
would like
you.
to thank you.
Sorry,
Thank you.
go ahead.
I'd like to thank you for the opportunity. I had a good time talking. I know we talked about many variety of things. I don't know how you're gonna title this, but I trust I trust in your
Don't worry,
wisdom.
don't worry. I will pick your brain about this. Okay.
All right.
And of course, later I will separately message you and ask you for your contact details. So anyone who has any questions, or they would like to get your opinion or give you their feedback or something, they know how to reach you. So thank you very much, Jega. I too enjoyed our conversation, and I wish you all the best. I'm hoping that 2022 is 2020 was like very as everyone likes to use, unprecedented times. No one expected that. And then uh, 2020 was that. 2021, things were slowly moving and we were figuring things out and all that stuff. And hopefully 2022 is the start of coming out of this coming out of the rain into the sunshine, and heading towards lots of light and abundance and beautiful rainbow and lots of opportunity and possibilities for everyone. So I wish you all the best, and I thank everyone who is tuned in to this interview. I wish you all also a great week ahead, and take care, and we'll catch up in the next interview. So all the best and take care, Jega, and we'll catch up another time.